Okay, first things first with marshmallow fondant. I want to let you know that I am going to screw this up and forget steps and probably have to send you a text message to remind you of something that I forgot. But I'll try to go through this as realistically as humanly possible. So the supplies that you need for marshmallow fondant include a large bowl, a spatula, a really sturdy one. Don't let it be something that's going to pop off the end or something like that. It needs to be one piece and very sturdy. This one actually I think has metal inside it. It makes a big difference. You need 2 packages of mini marshmallows. These are 10-ounce sizes. If you can only find 16 ounces of Jet Puff marshmallows at your grocery store, that's fine, but check the packages. They are either in 10-ounce packages or 16-ounce packages. I have found that inexpensive marshmallows work better than expensive marshmallows, so the cheaper the better. Unless they're stuck together. Try to get them fresh. If they're moving around in the bag, they're fresh. If they're not moving around in the bag, they're probably old, stuck together. You need 2-pound bag of confectioner's sugar. This is going to make probably enough to cover your cake and have enough if you were going to do figurines as well. If you're not going to do figurines, well, don't worry about that. You need 3 tablespoons of water to start, which I am going to unceremoniously pour over the marshmallows. And down the road, you will need vanilla. I have imitation vanilla right now. I should have pure vanilla. This is what I have today. And you need cling wrap. Cling wrap is really, really important for wrapping up your fondant after you have prepared it. This whole process is probably going to take 10 to 12 minutes, and I am going to be covered in marshmallow and goo by the end of it. So I want to have my plastic wrap set up for when my hands are completely covered with Crisco and marshmallows so that I don't have to be handling my box when I'm covered in Crisco and marshmallows. So I already have my pieces pulled out. They are about 2 feet long. 2 side by side, and they're overlapping with a seam down the center. It's a little bit difficult to show you with this video camera, but I was afraid that if I did it on my phone, I wouldn't be able to actually send it to you. So I'm going to take my bowl of marshmallows, and I'm not going to stir it or anything. I'm just going to pop it in the microwave. It goes in the microwave for 1 minute and 40 seconds, and while it's in the microwave, I prep for my next step. I have a container of shortening right here. Just any old shortening, it doesn't make any difference. That was an ingredient that I forgot to mention. Sorry about that. And I scoop out some shortening with my spatula, and I smear it on the countertop in kind of a square. Basically, the sugar is going to spread out all over the countertop. The marshmallows are going to spread out all over the countertop, and if you can help to make that a little bit unsticky, it's a good thing. You will never be completely unsticky with this process. You're just going to be covered. And then I put a little bit of shortening on my spatula because when I stir it into my confectioner's sugar, or excuse me, when I stir it into my marshmallows, this is going to help with texture. And it's not a critical step. If you forget this, it's not going to wreck your marshmallow fondant. So I also have my bag opened, my bag of powdered sugar opened, because the powdered sugar and the vanilla are going to come in next. When I'm melting my marshmallows, I'm not looking to melt them completely while they're actually going through that 1 minute and 40 seconds in the microwave. And your microwave may vary on time. I'm not looking to get it completely melty. It's not going to look completely melty when it comes out of the microwave. It's going to be kind of bubbled up like the giant mound of marshmallows. And in 20 seconds, I will show you that giant mound of marshmallows. Something that's also going to come up is you're going to mix part of your sugar with part of your marshmallows. The other part of it, about 2/3 of the bag, is going to go on the counter. It does not matter if you have more than 2/3 or less than 2/3. Just about 2/3 goes on your countertop. You can hear my dog barking in the background. I'm sorry, she must have seen, I don't know, a squirrel or something. So I'm going to spread this out. And yes, already have this is powdered sugar on my hands. Alright, so that's sort of what it looks like when it comes out of the microwave. It's gooey, but they're not completely melty. So I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to stir it around. You'll notice that there is water on the bottom. The water's pretty hot from being in that microwave for 1.5 minutes, and you want to fully incorporate the water with the marshmallows. So just keep stirring. And what you're going to look for as you're stirring is for it to kind of come to all the same consistency. It doesn't take very long because some of those marshmallows are really, really hot. Already getting covered. See, it's sort of starting to look like just a giant mass of meltiness. It's so pretty. This is usually when I have a kid come in saying, "Mom, can I have a spoonful?" Marshmallows and water. All right, it is pretty much all melted in now. And you'll notice it hasn't shrunk up very much, but a little bit. All right, I'm going to now add my vanilla. Do this before you add your confectioner sugar. If you don't, you will get lumps. That was about a tablespoon, by the way. If you measure, sorry, I didn't think to do that. That was about a tablespoon of vanilla. So I'm just going to mix the vanilla in. As soon as I've mixed my vanilla in, I'm going to dump what's left in my bag of confectioner sugar into this. And it's going to make a really, really big mess. It gets firmed up on the sides fast, and that makes it kind of hard to not scrape it out. And since I am very, very frugal, I like to get as much as I possibly can out of here, so this, you have to work fast. You pretty much fold this kind of like when you would fold egg whites into a waffle mix or something like that, because if you don't fold this, it's just going to be everywhere. But you're going to work pretty quickly because you don't want it to firm up very fast. So see what this is looking like? Seriously, this is just messy. It just is what it is. All right. When I get that mostly incorporated, it should kind of come all together into one mass of marshmallows and sugar. It gets a little bit lumpy. Don't worry about the lumps. They're going to come out. And then, when it's pretty much combined, I start scraping from the back, move it toward the front, and aim for the middle of my confectioner sugar pile. Scrape off my spoon pretty well. Like I said, that bugs me, but it is what it is. You're going to lose some. All right, notice that it's going off on the edges. Coat your hands with shortening. There's stickiness on my countertop now. I've got stuff in there. But now, I basically just fold it over. Do you see my shirt now? Completely covered. Folding and folding and folding. This part is so messy. It just is. And folding. It is possible, depending on the humidity the day that you're working on this, that you will have to add a little bit more confectioner sugar to your pile, because you might not get it to a point where it's stiff enough with just the one bag of confectioner sugar. I always have sugar on hand, so I don't know how often you use confectioner sugar, if it's going to just be too much to keep. If that's the case, maybe start with a few less marshmallows just in case. It really depends upon the humidity. More humidity, it's stickier. Less humidity, if it's a really dry day, you'll probably do just fine with just one bag of confectioner sugar. I have a bag sitting off to the side just in case. So now it becomes more like traditional kneading, like bread. It does not have to be fussy. All you're trying to do is work that confectioner sugar into your warm marshmallows. It takes a few minutes. It's so worth it in the end. And I'm going to scrape my sugar in to the middle. And it's looking like I'm probably going to need more sugar with this batch. What you're going for with this is for it to start to kind of feel like Play-Doh. Not quite as stiff as Play-Doh, but definitely not sticky. Right now this is still pretty sticky. You want to be able to roll it out eventually, but you also need to know that your marshmallows are warm right now, and as they cool down they're going to firm up a little bit. If that happens and you've actually kneaded too much into your dough, I will show you in the rolling out fondant video what to do if that happens. We're getting there. Oh, I was also going to apologize at the beginning of this for the chaos in the background. I have gone grocery shopping 2 days in a row now, first for my family supplies and then for cake supplies for the week. And I also tried to rig up a system with my phone camera at first to make this happen, but was encouraged by my children not to do so because there is no program, according to them, that will download the massive numbers of gigabytes that it would take to record a 15-minute fondant making session. So, horrible computer quality it is. Got almost all of the sugar incorporated, still kind of sticky for my liking. When we get most of it in there, I'll show you kind of how it squishes out on the countertop when it's done. When I first started making cakes, YouTube was not as rife with videos on how to do this as it is now. I wish that people had shown me some of the tricks that I've learned now. Okay. See how the counter is pretty cleaned up? Maybe you can't, I don't know. If it comes down to it and it's too gooey when you go to work with it, I usually let mine sit for probably 24 hours before I do anything with it. And I don't put it in the refrigerator. If you put fondant in the refrigerator, when it comes out, it is stickier. And it's just really, really difficult to work with. I always have issues with that. And you can add any color you want to the fondant once it's completely done. Start with small amounts of coloring. The color that you need for that frozen cake that you're looking at is a combination of sky blue and teal, but you could make it work by mixing a little bit of royal blue, which is the color that typically comes in the gel colors or the kind that you get for Easter egg coloring. You can mix that blue with a little bit of yellow, just a tiny smidge of yellow, and you could probably get away with it. Try with a small piece first. All right, this is kind of a little bit gooey right now, but it's pretty dry here today actually, so I'm afraid if I put very much more sugar in this, it's going to be too hard to work with tomorrow. So I'm going to kind of gather it up into a ball. I'm going to run my fingers through my shortening again, and just use your regular container of shortening. It's not that big a deal. Stick my fingers in there and kind of work it all over into a ball in the middle of my plastic wrap, and just wrap it up good. The goal is to not leave any surfaces of the fondant exposed, because anything that's exposed to the air long term will dry out and get crusty and you won't be able to work with it. And that is what that looks like when you're finished. It's probably, I don't know, 3 pounds? 3.5 pounds? Yeah, that would make sense. 20 ounces and 2 pounds. Yep, that's about 3.5 pounds. So it's about 3.5 pounds of fondant. It'll easily cover your frozen cake and the topping for your frozen cake, and probably some figurines or snowflakes or something if you want to put them around it. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or message me or whatever, and I'll show you how to roll it out when I roll out some cakes tomorrow.